Hello, everyone. It's Charlton. Please subscribe to my channel. Tap the notification bell. I'd appreciate it majorly. And a second person. This is from starting at the AP, and everybody else is re-reporting it, like myself. So that there's a second person that heard the same conversation that was just testified about yesterday by Bill Taylor, the interim ambassador to the Ukraine. The person he's talking about, I think, I already forgot his name, is Daniel Holmes, who's a foreign service officer in the embassy in Kyiv. So is this person? David Holmes is also an attorney. I wasn't aware of that till today or just now. So is this person whose name is Surya Gianti, who is this is her LinkedIn page, and I recognized that name immediately. She was reporting a different story that kind of started this all off for me. I mean, not the Ukraine call, but about a different story that I made a video about that got almost no attention. And believe me, at the time, I said this is big and it's a problem. And about Lev Parnas and Igor Fruman. And it was only a few days later that they were arrested. So anyways, and she was brought up in that report. I'll get to that towards the end of this. But according to this story, AP, Surya Jayanti is her name, and she's worked at the State Department since 2012. She's been at the embassy in Kyiv, I think, only since 2018, but she's had various posts. The embassy in Baghdad, Iraq, the embassy in Kuwait. I think she was actually in Nassau, Bahamas as well for a year. It's all right on her, her LinkedIn page, which, I was just looking at this on my phone 2 seconds ago, and, she just took her photo down. I mean, that's she obviously doesn't want people to, I don't know, this is just going to be an onslaught of public, publicity and stuff, and probably her and Daniel Holmes aren't relishing the idea of that. But there's pictures of her all over the internet, so it's only a matter of time before people see her. She was due to testify according to this AP article, earlier, but because of Elijah Cummings' death and his funeral, it got postponed. It hasn't been rescheduled yet. I'm certain it's going to be. There's absolutely no question about it, man. So, but according to this AP article, she heard basically the same thing. And we all know what was reported yesterday, that Daniel Holmes supposedly overheard the president talking to Sondland at some restaurant in Kyiv the day after, on the 26th. They're in a crowded restaurant. I think there's many of them there, having dinner together. And supposedly it's, you could hear Trump's voice from the phone. He was speaking loudly enough to hear what he was saying, and he said, how's it going with the investigations? And then after he hung up, according to Daniel Holmes, through that he told this to Bill Taylor, that Daniel Holmes asked him, does Trump really care about Ukraine? And supposedly Sondland said, that he's more interested in the Bidens. That's really what he's interested in. He's not really interested in Ukraine. So the fact that there's this second person, believe me, this is not good for Trump. Okay, now you're going to have Sondland, who's going to have to testify about this. He's already scheduled to testify on Tuesday in an open hearing in public. Obviously under oath, and he's going to be asked about this. I think his attorneys were asked already, and they said, well, they didn't have any comment for now. He'll have his explanation when he testifies on, I think it's next Wednesday, I want to say. But now you have two people who basically are claiming the same thing, that they heard the same thing, similar things, and it's going to be very difficult for him to deny that, especially given the fact that he's already amended his testimony once, that he gave under oath. And so, there's only so many do-overs you get. And believe me, and this dude is no dummy. This is a seasoned business person who's quite wealthy, like Trump. And he has no interest in going to jail just to protect Trump, and I don't blame him, dude. So, Trump's got a problem, dude. He really does. And this is just these people. This doesn't include Bolton and other persons, that Mulvaney, whether or not we'll ever hear from him or Bolton, I don't know. But he's got a problem. Trump does. So what's reported in this article? A second U.S. Embassy staffer in Kyiv overheard a cell phone call between President Donald Trump and his ambassador to the European Union, discussing a need for Ukrainian officials to pursue investigations, the Associated Press has learned. The July 26 call between Trump and Gordon Sondland was first described during testimony Wednesday by William Taylor, the acting U.S. ambassador to Ukraine. Taylor said one of his staffers overheard the call while Sondland was in a Kyiv restaurant the day after Trump's July 25th phone call with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky that triggered the White House, the House impeachment inquiry. The second diplomatic staffer also at the table was Surya Jayanti, a foreign service officer based in Kyiv. A person briefed on what Jayanti overheard spoke to AP on a condition of anonymity to discuss a sensitive matter currently under investigation. The accounts of the two embassy staffers could tie Trump closer to alleged efforts to hold up military aid to Ukraine in exchange for investigations into political rival Joe Biden and his son Hunter Biden's business dealings. In defending Trump on Wednesday, Republicans repeatedly highlighted that Taylor never directly heard the president direct anyone to demand that Ukrainians open the probe. Trump was asked about this, and he adamantly denied it. And what's he going to do? Admit it? Trump on Wednesday said he did not recall the July 26th call with Sondland. No, not at all, not even a little bit. And this is a person he says he barely even knows at all, even though he's the one who nominated him to this position. Supposedly he donated $1 million, Sondland, to his inauguration fund. So, dude, it's just a problem, and he could put a brave face on it, and all the dudes on YouTube and all the users out there, and you guys can have your little meetings to talk about, hearsay and all that. But I'm telling you, dude, this is the problem, and good, I say, So, but in this previous article that kind of got this all started for me. And this is after people were talking about the whistleblower, but I sort of started talking about this whole story when this story broke. And nobody talked about it much, even though I thought it was humongous. It was about Lev Parnas and Igor Fruman and Giuliani. And she's in this story as well, Surya Jayanti. And in it, it talks about how Igor Fruman and Lev Parnas and some other dude, some oil magnate from Florida, Sargent is his name, I forget his first name, had traveled to Texas, I think to Houston. I think there was some kind of energy conference there, and there was an executive from Naftogaz, the Ukraine state-owned gas company, attending this energy conference. And these three individuals were basically pitching him this idea of ousting the current chief executive of Naftogaz and having him elevated to chief executive, and basically trying to do some kind of deal where they would be supply a number of different contracts of natural gas to Naftogaz, the state-owned Ukraine gas company. Something to that effect. Okay, I'm summarizing, so forgive me if it's not absolutely perfect. So, but that individual relayed some of that same, the individual that they approached, an executive, not the chief executive of Naftogaz, who was attending the energy conference in Houston, Texas. I forget the dates when that, Parnoff, Fruman, and this other dude, Sargent, I think is his last name, the oil magnate from Florida, attended this thing and presented this idea to Farvarov, is his name, right there, Farvarov. So Sargent told Farvarov he regularly meets with Trump at Mar-a-Lago and that the gas sales plan he had the president's full support, according to the two people who said Farvarov recounted the discussion to them. These conversations were recounted to AP, Associated Press, by Dale W. Perry, an American who is a former business partner of Favreau. He told, and Perry has no relation to, who is it? Perry, the former governor of Texas, and now the energy minister in the Trump administration, who had made multiple visits to Ukraine on the same matter. So, but they have no relation. So these conversations were recounted by AP to AP by Dale Perry, an American who is a former business partner of Favreau. He told AP in an interview that Favreau described the meeting to him soon after it happened, and that Favreau perceived it to be a shakedown. Perry, who is no relation to the energy secretary, is the managing partner of Energy Resources of Ukraine, which currently has business agreements to import natural gas and electricity to Ukraine. A second person who spoke on the condition of anonymity also confirmed to AP that Favreau had recounted the details of the Houston meeting to him. According to Dale Perry and to the other person, Favreau said Parnas told him Trump planned to remove U.S. Ambassador Marie Yovanovitch, and replace her with someone more open to aiding their business interests. Dale Perry told the AP he was so concerned about the efforts to change the management at Naftagaz and to get rid of Yovanovitch that he reported what he had heard to Suri Jayanti, this person that is now the second person who's heard the same thing, the same phone conversation that Daniel Holmes heard to Sondland from President Trump. A State Department Foreign Service officer stationed at the U.S. Embassy in Kyiv who focuses on the energy industry. He also wrote a detailed memo about Favreau's account dated April 12th, which was shared with another current State Department official. Perry recently provided a copy of the April memo to AP. I mean, that very well could be, I don't know. I don't want to speculate. I don't know. Gianti declined to provide comment. Favreau also declined to comment. So that's pretty much the story there, dude. And so I'm just curious because I know she took her picture down, and I don't know if other outlets are showing her picture yet. They will be, though, because her picture's everywhere. I mean, I just don't know yet. We'll see. But for the time being, that's the story there. That is the story there. He's got trouble, dude. He's got trouble. And if people are worried about me talking about it, believe it. He's got issues, dude. He's got issues. And that's the story there. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below. And I'll see you in the next video. Later, man.